In this video, we're headed to Los Angeles, California to board the beautiful Discovery Princess for a week-long Pacific Coast cruise with stops in San Francisco, San Diego, and Ensenada, Mexico. Join us for all the ports, sea days, and shipboard fun along the way as we experience everything this itinerary has to offer. Come along as we grab our flight from Austin, Texas, and get this cruise started. Before even arriving at the Austin airport, we were able to check into our hotel in San Pedro, the DoubleTree by Hilton, using the Hilton app. Once at the airport, we checked our luggage, made our way through security, and headed to our gate for our midday flight to Los Angeles. Before long, we were boarding our flight. The look on my niece Haley's face says it all. We were finally on our way for her first cruise, after our Galveston sailing was abruptly canceled just a few months earlier. Soon, we were winging our way west across the southwest toward LAX. A highlight of the flight was lunch on board. Delta offered a special selection created by John and Vinny's restaurant, braised meatballs. It's one of the upgraded options available when flying first class or Delta One, and it was absolutely delicious. We arrived at LAX's Terminal 2 around 1 p.m., collected our luggage, and made our way to the rideshare lot. From there, it was about a 40-minute Uber ride down to San Pedro, and our hotel for the night, the DoubleTree by Hilton. Our room wasn't quite ready when we arrived, so while we waited in the lobby, I stepped out onto the back porch. From there, I was able to grab a few shots of the back of the hotel and the large marina that sits next to it. The DoubleTree overlooks the water here in San Pedro, and it makes for a really relaxing setting before Embarkation Day. Not long after, we received a notice on the app that our room was ready. After taking our things upstairs, we headed back out for a walk around the marina. Along the way, we were able to get some great shots of the boats and also some nice views looking back toward our hotel. One of the highlights of the walk was spotting the Royal Caribbean ship we had seen docked earlier, making its way up the channel and out to sea. Watching it sail out gave us a preview of what was to come, since our own ship would be taking the very same channel tomorrow as we begin our cruise. After our walk, we were starting to get hungry, so we headed back to the hotel for dinner at 2800 Kitchen and Lounge, which had just opened for the evening. We started off with spinach and artichoke dip. There's that happy look again. And I also ordered a bowl of clam chowder. For the main course, Haley chose a chicken dish, while I went with fish and chips. To finish things off, our waiter surprised us with an enormous ice cream and brownie dessert. They were delicious, but there was no way either of us could finish them. Overall, the food here was very good and made for a nice, relaxing dinner before Embarkation Day. We woke up the next morning to a reminder on the app. Embarkation Day had finally arrived. After all the planning and anticipation, today we would be boarding the Discovery Princess. But first, breakfast. We headed down to the restaurant at the hotel, where Haley ordered toast and bacon, and I went with an omelet. Just like dinner the night before, breakfast was really good. After we finished up, we ordered an Uber for the short ride over to the port to finally begin our cruise. Our Uber dropped us off right in front of berth 92, where the Discovery Princess was waiting. We arrived around 10 a.m., and after dropping off our luggage with a porter, we joined the rather long line that had formed outside the terminal. We hadn't been waiting long when the line began to move. A Princess representative noticed we were already wearing our medallions and asked if we were Green Lane. We were, and she pulled us out of the long line and into a much shorter one reserved for Green Lane guests. From there, we moved quickly through security, were given a boarding number, and within about 15 minutes, were headed up the ramp to board the ship. And as we stepped on the ship, there's that look again. Once on board, we made our way to the Princess Live Lounge, where we ordered a couple of specialty coffees. It was the perfect spot to sit back, relax, and take a few minutes to chill while we waited for our staterooms to be ready. Not long after, an announcement let us know that our staterooms wouldn't be ready for a while. So, after finishing our coffee, we decided to head up to the upper deck to take in the views of the port and the surrounding area while we waited. Docked in the berth just behind our ship was the USS Iowa, a former Navy battleship that was transformed into a permanent museum back in 2012. From the upper deck, we had great views of it, and we knew we'd get even better looks later as we sailed away from the dock. After spending some time exploring the upper decks, we got an announcement that our staterooms were ready. We headed down to our cabin to drop off our things before coming back up later for sail away. To our surprise, our luggage had already been delivered, so we took a little time to unpack. Once we were settled in, we stepped out onto our balcony for some more views of the Port of Los Angeles, this time right from our own cabin balcony. As sail away time drew near, we made our way back up to the Lido deck on deck 16 and found a spot tucked under the deck above right next to the windows. From there, we watched as the crew cast off the line and the ship slowly began to move. Then, in no time, that distinctive love boat theme rang out from the ship's horn, our signal that we were officially getting underway. As the ship's thrusters pushed us away from the dock and we began to move, we headed up one deck for an even better outdoor view. From there, we watched as the Discovery Princess sailed past the USS Iowa and continued down the channel toward the ocean. Interestingly, the ship was actually backing down the channel since it had been docked nose first.
Get ready for your sail away celebration, ladies and gentlemen. This is your warm up.
Meanwhile, the sail-away party on the Lido deck below was in full swing. A live band, along with the ship's singers and dancers, kept the energy high as we continued backing down the channel toward the open sea. As we neared the end of the channel, we got a great look at the marina and the hotel where we stayed the night before. It was fun to see it from a completely different perspective. Just the evening before, we had stood down there watching the Royal Caribbean ship make its way out the very same channel we were now sailing. Once we cleared the channel and reached a more open area, the familiar love boat horn sounded again, this time signaling the start of our turn to face the ship toward the ocean. From there, our journey past the breakwater and out into the open water began. After taking in a few last views back up the channel, we returned to our stateroom to watch the ship complete its turn and sail past the small lighthouse that marked the breakwater. With that, we were officially out in the Pacific, and it was time to get ready for our early dinner reservation at Sabatini's. We arrived at Sabatini's for our 5 p.m. reservation and were seated at a table by the windows, giving us a perfect view as we sailed out to sea. Sabatini's had changed since my previous cruise on the Discovery Princess. Not only had its location shifted to overlook the piazza, taking over the former space of Catch by Rudy, but the way dinner was served had also been updated. It was now a full 5-course meal, including choices of soup and salad, an antipasto, pasta, main course, and dessert. A big improvement in my opinion. Even before we placed our orders, our meal began with an appetizer of bread and fried rice seasoned with black truffles and filled with mozzarella, served with a side of marinara. While enjoying these delicious bites, we took our time browsing the wine and drink list and soaking in the start of our 5-course dining experience.
Also here in Italian dining we have a 5-course meal with the 3 appetizers, mains and then quite a lot of and then we go on the premium.
We placed our drink orders and they soon arrived. Haley had an Aperol Spritz, and I enjoyed a nice Italian Chianti red wine. As we waited for soup to be served, we noticed land appearing in the distance, and it didn't take long to realize it was Catalina Island, which we would be sailing past for the remainder of our meal. For our soup course, we both chose Ribollita soup. For the antipasti, I went with panzanella, while Haley opted for burrata caprese. Moving on to pasta, I chose the seafood linguine, and Haley selected the meatballs. For our main course, we both went with the grilled strip loin steak. Dessert was tiramisu all the way, accompanied by a cappuccino on the side. It was an incredible meal, and even better, we got to enjoy it while watching the sea and Catalina Island slowly pass by outside the window. After dinner and a quick look around from the 3rd level of the piazza where Sabatini's is located, we made our way to the theater for tonight's show. Our show for the evening was Gin Maldonado, a tribute to the divas. We arrived about 30 minutes early to get good seats and took a look around the theater. The main theater on the Discovery Princess seats over 900 people and is a beautiful venue featuring LED lighting throughout. One thing you'll notice as we see shows during the week is how the lighting changes, both in look and color, from one performance to the next, adding to the experience each time. As showtime approached, the theater quickly filled with people. The cruise director came out to give the introduction, and before long, the show was underway.
Hey, welcome to you.
The performance was a tribute to the hits of several famous female singers, spanning multiple genres and styles of music. The show was backed by the Discovery Princess Band performing live, which added so much energy to the night. Interestingly, We learned that the musicians had only one rehearsal earlier that afternoon before putting on the show, a real testament to their talent. Let's listen to some highlights.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. It's easy to achieve. Thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. Are you ready? Discovery Princess, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, and I am back. Come around space. I just want to find here. That's that look upon your face.
The show lasted about 45 minutes. Afterward, we spent a little time in the casino, but it was very crowded, so we decided to head to the piazza instead. There, we grabbed a drink, relaxed, and enjoyed some music from a band we really liked and ended up listening to quite a bit throughout the cruise, Jamie's band. Eventually, we made our way back to our stateroom. Today is our very first sea day as we make our way down the Pacific coast toward San Francisco. We started our day with coffee and light breakfast delivered to our cabin, which gave us a chance to look over the patter for the day. The patter is the daily program that the room stewards leave in your cabin every morning. It starts out by highlighting some of the featured events for the day, followed by a full schedule of everything happening around the ship. And as you can see, there are lots of options to choose from. It also includes a need-to-know section and a today's top 3 spotlight. On the back page, you'll find the operating hours for all the venues on board, from dining in bars to lounges, shopping, and even the medical center. It's a great way to get a snapshot of everything happening on board as we plan out our sea day. We headed first down to the piazza for a martini demonstration. Led by the assistant cruise director, along with bartenders from the crew, this event is much more than a simple how to make a martini presentation. It's really a showcase of the bartender's skills, complete with a few flashy tricks thrown in. With music playing, audience volunteers joining in, and plenty of energy from the staff, it's a fun experience to watch, whether you enjoy martinis or not. Let's take a look at a few highlights from the martini demonstration.
Let me introduce you my 2 friends here. I have with me today LJ. LJ, tell them, where are you from?
Good morning, guys. I'm LJ. I'm from the Philippines.
And on my right side, I have Gino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm also Gino from Philippines.
For how long have you been working for Princess?
It's my 10 years now.
Wow, 10 years. 10. Okay, Gino, what are you going to make to us?
So, the drink that I will make first is the Milky Way martini.
A Milky Way martini? Okay, production! If it's strong. 1. Just 1. 2. And 3. I like it. How many? 2 glasses, 1. Woo! Take it! Hey! Okay, Princess is a very serious company, so I need to ask you, How old are you? Yeah, can I see your ID? Can I see your ID? Take a seat. What do you think? Excellent. It's. Did you drink? What do you think? Very good. Very good. Look at this! Put your hands together to OJ! Wow.
After the demonstration, we made our way up to the pool deck and found it surprisingly quiet. The deck was still damp from the morning mist, and while the skies were still overcast, the temperature was comfortable. We grabbed a spot near the windows, close to where we had sat for sail away the day before, and settled in to relax while watching the sea roll by.
I'm looking forward to my hot dog.
Using the onboard app, we ordered one of the specialty cookies to snack on, and it made for a nice little treat as we continued our first sea day. After relaxing for a while, we decided it was time for something a little more filling. Since it was close by, we stopped at the Salty Dog Grill and ordered chili dogs along with some loaded fries. It's a great casual option on the pool deck when you just want something quick and satisfying. After eating, we headed back to our stateroom to sit on the balcony and enjoy the ocean views. On the way, we made a quick stop at the gelateria near the piazza on Deck 5 to pick up one of the premium desserts that's included with our Plus package. We brought it back to the room, sat out on the balcony, and enjoyed the treat as we continued sailing north toward San Francisco. We eventually went back inside and spent some time watching a movie from the selections available on the stateroom TV. After relaxing for a bit, it was time to get ready for the evening. Tonight was the first formal night of the cruise, and we were headed to an early dinner in the main dining room. We headed up to the piazza to wait for our reservation time and then made our way into the main dining room to begin our formal night meal. Dinner started off with some really good bread.
Crispy bread. You just need that.
We don't have table for over there. Only this. Here is one side. The other side is the other side.
Followed by appetizers. Haley chose the gnocchi, while I went with a crab cake. What is it?
Gnocchi.
Good?
Yes.
What's here?
For the main course, we both had beef tenderloin.
This looks delicious. That's good.
To finish the meal, we indulged in a special selection of princess desserts prepared for formal night. Caramel pecan turtle cheesecake, the well-known Princess Love Boat Dream, and of course, creme brulee. The meal was very good. After dinner, we made our way back to the piazza for the captain's champagne fountain. The event was led by the cruise director with performances by the princess dancers, and then members of the crew were introduced. Finally, the captain himself took center stage to pour the champagne into the fountain. Let's take a look at some scenes from this lively celebration.
Well, before we start, let me introduce somebody. Our cruise director, Matt Thompson, the voice and the head of the Discovery Princess. The champagne waterfall, but I need your help. We'll just do a little countdown from 5. Are you ready? Yeah. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, an official warm welcome on board Discovery Princess. We're going to have a blast. But please, if you wouldn't mind, another huge round of applause.
The night wasn't over after the Champagne Fountain event, as we headed to the main theater for the first production musical of the cruise, Viva la Musica. You'll notice a difference in the theater lighting tonight compared to the show last night. The LED lights create a completely different look and atmosphere on each evening. Viva la Musica is a vibrant Latin-themed production featuring lively Latin music and colorful costumes. While video isn't allowed during the performance, still photos are, so I was able to capture a few highlights to share with you here. After the show, we spent a little time in the casino and then returned to the piazza to enjoy some live music. Eventually, it was time to head back to our stateroom to get some rest, since we'd be up early the next day for our arrival in San Francisco and the exciting sail under the Golden Gate Bridge. Few cruise arrivals are as iconic as sailing into San Francisco under the Golden Gate Bridge. We were up early this Monday morning because the captain had announced the night before that we'd be sailing under the Golden Gate Bridge just after 7 a.m., and we definitely didn't want to miss it. At this point, we were still out at sea, but land and the hills of San Francisco were already in sight. We even spotted a Holland America ship making its way in behind us. So, let's take in the views from our stateroom balcony as we sail toward the Golden Gate. Something we noticed just beyond the bridge as it came into view was a fog bank, the famous San Francisco fog, which the locals have even given a name, Carl. At first, we were a little worried it might block our views of the city as we entered the bay, but as you'll see, it lifted nicely just in time for our arrival. Looking beyond the bridge, we could already spot Alcatraz Island looming in the distance. As we drew closer, the city of San Francisco began to appear on the hillsides, a sight that was both impressive and a little surreal. And then came the highlight of the morning, sailing under the Golden Gate Bridge. From our balcony, we had an incredible vantage point as the ship glided past this iconic landmark, a truly unforgettable way to arrive in San Francisco. As it slowly became fully light, we continued sailing into the bay toward our berth at the port of San Francisco. From our balcony, we had beautiful views looking back at the Golden Gate Bridge, as well as the well-known hills of San Francisco coming closer into view as we drew nearer to the city. Soon we were sailing past the Marina District, with the steep streets of Pacific Heights rising up beyond it. Next came Fort Mason, now home to an arts complex, and Great Meadow Park, all set against the backdrop of San Francisco's downtown skyline, with its cluster of high-rise buildings looming just behind. As we got closer to our berth, Alcatraz was no longer visible from our side of the ship since our staterooms and balcony were on the starboard side. We were treated, though, to sweeping views of Fisherman's Wharf, even better views of downtown San Francisco, and the rise of Telegraph Hill with the Bay Bridge stretching out in the distance, along with Ghirardelli Square right along the waterfront. Looking back toward the Golden Gate Bridge in the distance, I caught a shot of the Holland America ship we had seen earlier. It was out at sea before, but now it was making its way into the bay as it was about to pass beneath the bridge. And then the arrival of a tugboat alongside our ship to help guide us into our dock signaled our arrival at Pier 27. As Discovery Princess maneuvered into its dock, we got a few more glimpses of Alcatraz. As the docking process wrapped up, an unidentified nearby bell rang, marking the time as 8 a.m. I grabbed a few more shots of the bay and the Bay Bridge as we tied up, then went back inside to get ready. Next stop was the International Cafe on board for some coffee and pastries to start the day before we disembarked for our Alcatraz excursion. After we finished eating and as 10 a.m. approached, we grabbed our excursion tickets and reported to the main theater just as the instructions on the ticket directed. At the door, we were assigned a group and given a sticker to wear identifying us as part of that group. Ours was Aqua 10. We sat down with the others and waited until our group was called. This excursion was split in two parts. The first was a ferry ride over to Alcatraz Island for a self-guided tour, followed by a return ferry ride back to the pier. The second part, which I'll cover in the next video, was a bus ride across the Golden Gate Bridge, a stop at Vista Point, and then on to Sausalito for some free time before heading back to the ship. After a short wait, our group was called, and we made our way out of the theater toward the ship's gangway. From there, we walked through the empty San Francisco terminal building and eventually stepped outside to meet up with our tour guide.
This is what it was. Break the law, go to jail. Break jail's law, you get sent to Alcatraz. Okay, my name is Maggie. I'm going to be your tour guide today. Usually the first question is, what are we going to do? Well, Sausalito, you need to come back on the 1 o'clock ferry. I will be there at Pier 33, and we will be getting on a bus, going across the Golden Gate Bridge, going to Sausalito, and spending the afternoon in Sausalito. We will have you back here at this spot at 4:15 this afternoon. Do you have any questions? Yes, you can spend as much time as you like on Alcatraz, but if you are going on to Sausalito, you need to come back on the 1 o'clock ferry. No, to Pier 33.
Our tour guide, Maggie, led us on a short walk of just over a block to the very busy Alcatraz ferry terminal. Since the excursion included our ferry tickets, the process was simple. Even though the lines looked long, the ferry had plenty of capacity, and before long we were on board and ready to sail over to Alcatraz.
Watch your step and be careful as you move about the island and be aware of service vehicles.
Life jackets are located under all fixed seating.
As we pulled away from the dock, we had a clear view of the Holland America ship that was tied up right next to the ferry terminal. Soon after, we were on our way across the bay toward Alcatraz. Let's take in a few of the views as we make our way to the island.
I invite you to explore its multi-layered history. You'll walk in the footsteps of America's most dangerous criminals and the men who guarded them. Hear their voices and experience their daily. You'll be amazed at the island's natural beauty.
You have the orchestral comedy, right? Drama would be like, what's a good drama?
After arriving on the island, we paused for a brief orientation from a Park Service ranger before starting the long climb up the hill to the main prison building. The walk up is fairly significant as a climb, so it's definitely something to consider if you're not comfortable with steep or extended walking. For those with mobility issues, there is a free tram shuttle that runs up to the main blockhouse twice per hour on a first-come, first-served basis. Taking your time on the walk makes it much easier, and it also rewards you with some fantastic views of the Bay Area, downtown San Francisco, the Bay Bridge, and even across the water toward Sausalito. At the top of the hill is the entrance to the main cell block. The tour here is self-guided, with an audio device and headphones provided right as you enter. The route begins in the old shower area and then leads directly into the main cell block itself. It was eerily quiet as we moved through the cell block. Even though there was plenty of people around us, almost everyone was focused on the audio tour playing in their headphones, which made the whole experience feel even a little more immersive. At one point along the tour, there was an open cell where visitors could step inside and get a sense of what it was like from the prisoner's perspective. From there, an open doorway led out to the famous prison recreation yard with its sweeping views of the bay. Standing there, you could really appreciate how the surrounding water completely cut the island off from the city and the world beyond. We wrapped up our tour of the cell block, which included displays and photographs of some of the notorious criminals who had served time here at Alcatraz. And with that, we made our way back outside to continue exploring the island. From the main prison building, we walked past the ruins of the warden's residence and the island's lighthouse tower, both perched on high ground with incredible views of the bay, the city of San Francisco, and the Golden Gate Bridge. Being so exposed to the water, this part of the island was especially windy, but the views made it worth the stop. We made our way back down the hill, stopping for a few shots of the boat arrival area and some of the old structures at the base, before joining the line for the next ferry back to the terminal in San Francisco. Before long, our ferry arrived, and we boarded for the ride back to San Francisco. As we pulled away, we enjoyed some great views looking back at Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge. And on the approach to the city, we caught more looks at the Holland America Coatings Dam as we returned to our dock. We met our tour guide back at the dock, who escorted us down the sidewalk to board our bus for the rest of the excursion. The bus ride to the Golden Gate Bridge along Highway 101 gave us some great views of the Presidio of San Francisco, now a national park, as well as the bridge itself and the surrounding bay. The approach and drive onto the Golden Gate was another one of those truly iconic moments that feels like a highlight of any San Francisco excursion. Just beyond the bridge, we arrived at North Vista Point, where the bus pulled into the parking area and we had time to get out and enjoy the views. Looking back across the Golden Gate toward San Francisco, the city skyline and the bay made for a stunning backdrop. There are so many incredible views around the Bay Area, but this one is definitely a favorite. And of course, it was time for the mandatory selfies with the bridge behind us. After taking a few more moments to admire the views of the bay and the Golden Gate Bridge, it was time to move on. We boarded the bus once again for the short and scenic drive into Sausalito, where we'd have a chance to explore the waterfront. Our bus parked in the official tour bus parking lot near Gabrielson Park by the bay, and from there we walked about a block over to Bridgeway, the main street that runs along Sausalito's waterfront. Crossing the street, we turned south and began strolling along the sidewalk. This stretch of Bridgeway is lined with shops, cafes, and restaurants, making it a lively and inviting spot. Just across the way is Vina del Mar Park, probably the most recognized and photographed park in Sausalito, with its fountain, statues, and open green space right by the water. From here we continued south to the next intersection where the Barrel House Tavern marked the last building on the left. Beyond that point, the town opened up right along the water. With shops still lining the right-hand side and the bay stretching out to the left, it made for a perfect spot to slow down, take in the scenery, and enjoy the charm of Sausalito's waterfront. Since we hadn't had any coffee since leaving the ship that morning, we were definitely ready for a pick-me-up. As we walked along the waterfront, we came upon the espresso bar at Suzette Cafe and Bistro. We stepped inside and ordered a couple of lattes, then took them back out to a sidewalk table. It was a perfect spot to relax for a bit, sip our coffee, and soak in the beautiful bay views right in front of us. Just as we were finishing our coffee, Carl decided to make an appearance. Now, for those of you not familiar, Carl is the name locals affectionately give to the San Francisco fog. Almost out of nowhere, the sky shifted, the fog rolled in, and a light rain began to fall. It was one of those classic Bay Area weather changes that seemed to happen in an instant. We ducked under a nearby awning for a little shelter, and almost as quickly as it had arrived, the rain passed. With the skies clearing again, we crossed back over to the waterfront sidewalk and continued our walk along the bay. It was a nice reminder of just how changeable the weather can be here. Before long, it was time to turn back north and make our way in the direction of the bus. As we walked, we passed a couple of inviting bayside restaurants that looked like perfect spots to sit down for a meal with a view. I made a mental note that someday I need to return, enjoy some food here, and spend more time exploring all that Sausalito has to offer. As we came back near Vina Del Mar Park, I paused to take in the cherry blossoms lining Bridgeway. The soft pink blooms added such a beautiful touch to the walk and made for some really nice shots along the way. We cut off onto El Portal toward the ferry terminal and arrived just in time to see the ferry from San Francisco pulling in. The ferries are such a great way to get around the bay, connecting San Francisco with Sausalito and several other communities along the shoreline. Watching it arrive really highlighted how important the ferry system is here, and it made for a great moment to pause and take in the view. From there, we headed back to the bus, which was parked nearby, and soon were on our way back across the Golden Gate Bridge, this time headed south.
And then we're going to cross.
The ride gave us more views of the bridge and the bay, but from a slightly different perspective, which was a nice way to see it all over again. Before long, we were back aboard the Discovery Princess and returned to our stateroom to get ready for dinner in the main dining room. The dinner menu, as it usually did, began with a selection of fresh breads, followed by starters, soups, and salads. On the next page, there were a couple of pasta options, along with 6 different main courses and several princess favorites that are always available. It was a nice variety with something to appeal to just about every taste. After the bread, we started with a delicious crab and artichoke dip. For my main course, I ordered the grilled seafood bowl, which came with salmon, red snapper, shrimp, and sea scallops, topped with a fresh mango lime salsa. Haley went with the more traditional beef stroganoff, a classic comfort dish that was cooked perfectly. And of course, we both wrapped things up with one of those great princess desserts, this time carrot cake. After dinner, there was a magician performing in the theater, but we decided instead to spend the evening in the piazza enjoying the live entertainment there. One of the highlights was a set featuring the music of ABBA, which was a lot of fun and had the crowd singing along. After the show, we made our way back to our stateroom to get some rest and recharge for our second day of exploring San Francisco. Today is our second day in San Francisco, and this time we're exploring the city on our own. We'll be getting around using Waymo's fully driverless cars, which was definitely a unique experience. We disembarked the ship through the terminal building and ordered our first ever Waymo using the app we had downloaded onto our phone. The app gave us a pickup point just across the street and showed both our location and the Waymo's location in real time, so we knew exactly when and where to meet it. When the car pulled up, my initials were displayed right on the small dome on top, a nice touch so you'll know exactly which one is your ride. We hopped in. You can sit anywhere except the driver's seat, buckled up, and before we knew it, we were off toward Chinatown. It was honestly pretty surreal to be riding in a car and glance over toward the driver's seat, only to see it completely empty. Waymo cars are built by Jaguar, and they're really comfortable. The system gives friendly announcements through the speakers, like reminders to buckle up and things like that, and even plays music between them. It was raining a little that morning, and the car automatically turned on the windshield wipers for us. It navigated smoothly through traffic, handled intersections and signals with ease, and even maneuvered around pedestrians and other Waymos, and there were a lot of them. At times, it seemed like Waymo was the most common car on the streets of San Francisco. I actually felt very safe as a passenger, honestly safer than most taxi or rideshare drivers. Let's watch a few scenes as Waymo maneuvers through traffic as we continue our ride to the Dragon Gate entrance to Chinatown. Soon we arrived in Chinatown, and our Waymo dropped us off right at the curb. I got a few quick shots from the sidewalk as it waited for traffic, then it pulled away to its next pickup. The entire ride cost less than $15, and with no tip needed, it was really an affordable and easy way to get around the city. We entered Chinatown from the south, crossing Bush Street and walking north through the Dragon Gate onto Grant Avenue. The first thing you notice when walking through Chinatown, and it's a constant reminder you're in San Francisco, are the hills. It's definitely an uphill climb from the start. We continued up to Pine Street where it leveled off a bit, and then kept going along Grant. Chinese architecture is visible all along the street, with rows of red lanterns hanging overhead, symbols of good fortune, adding a beautiful touch of color to the scene. As we approached the intersection of Grant and California, the architecture became even more striking, especially with the ornate building that really stands out as you come up from the south. California Street is also famous for the California Street cable car line, one of the most recognizable sights in San Francisco. We paused here for a bit to watch a cable car go by. It's always fun to see them make their way up and down these steep hills. From California Street, we continued north on Grant for a few more blocks, passing Sacramento, Clay, and Washington Streets before reaching Jackson. At Jackson, we turned left onto Jackson and climbed the hill to Stockton. From there, we turned south and walked one block back down to Grant Avenue. After heading west on Grant for a block, we turned north on Clay and made the short walk onto Waverly Place, right in the heart of Chinatown. From there, we continued back to Washington Street, completing our little loop back to Grant Avenue. We walked all the way back to Pine Street and then climbed the hill up to the Ritz-Carlton before turning around. By that point, we were starting to get hungry and spotted a small family-run restaurant called Bao Han. It was exactly what we were hoping to find in Chinatown. A cozy little spot with just a few tables and a kitchen tucked away in the back. We ordered spring rolls and gyoza to start. Then I had kung pao chicken, while Haley went with the sesame chicken. After lunch, we ordered another Waymo to take us over to Fisherman's Wharf for the next part of our day. It was a fairly short Waymo ride over to Fisherman's Wharf, dropping us off right by the iconic Fisherman's Wharf sign. Just like before, it was a fun ride, watching the car navigate through traffic and the crowds around the area with ease. We hopped off at the curb and got one final shot of our Waymo as it pulled away to the next ride. From the Fisherman's Wharf sign, we began walking west on Jefferson Street toward the San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park, the Powell and Hyde Cable Car Turntable, and Ghirardelli Square. After walking about 3 blocks, we arrived at the San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park and turned onto Hyde Street toward Beach Street, where the Powell and Hyde Cable Car turnaround is located. We paused for a few minutes to watch the cable cars in action, then took a short stroll through the adjoining park. We continued our walk in the park and then along Beach Street for another block, and soon arrived at Ghirardelli Square. Ghirardelli Square is a historic landmark in San Francisco, originally built in the late 1800s as a chocolate factory for Ghirardelli Company. Today, it's a popular public space with shops, restaurants, and of course, plenty of chocolate treats. A perfect blend of history, shopping, and sweet indulgence. Our main goal at Ghirardelli Square was simple: chocolate. We quickly found a shop and ordered ice cream treats, of course, topped with plenty of Ghirardelli chocolate. Then we made our way up to the second level, found an outdoor table, and settled in to enjoy our sweet indulgence. After finishing our treats, we took a little time to stroll around Ghirardelli Square before starting the nearly 1.5 mile walk back toward our ship at Pier 27. Let's enjoy the sights as we say goodbye to Ghirardelli Square and make our way along the waterfront past Fisherman's Wharf and beyond. Soon we reached the Fisherman's Wharf sign again, but this time we continued east along the waterfront, heading toward the Ferris wheel in the distance. Before reaching the Ferris wheel, we passed Boudin Bakery, famous for its San Francisco sourdough since 1849. It's been a local staple for generations, and it's a must-see for anyone exploring the waterfront. After taking a good look at the Ferris wheel, we soon reached Powell Street. In the distance, we could spot our ship, with the Holland America ship docked just in front of it. We crossed over the street and made our way to the Bay Walk to catch views of the sea lions at Pier 39. From the walkway, we got some nice views before heading to Pier 39 itself, home of the famous sea lion sculpture. Pier 39 also has an excellent viewing platform for the sea lions, plus a variety of shops, eateries, sit-down restaurants, entertainment, and the aquarium of the bay. But at this point, we'd already walked 20,000 steps and were ready to head back to the ship, so we didn't spend much time there this visit. Docked beside the Holland America ship is the SS Jeremiah O'Brien, a World War II Liberty-class ship that took part in the D-Day invasion. Today, it serves as a museum and is still operational for special occasions, offering a fascinating glimpse into history right on the San Francisco waterfront. From there, we made our way back to the ship and soon sat down for dinner. I didn't take many photos or videos of the meal, and you'll see why, because something happened during dinner that made it a very memorable evening. I didn't capture this on video, but here's what happened. As we were heading down for dinner, we suddenly heard a series of very loud pops. At first, some of the crew glanced around, but they continued seating guests and the waiters carried on with service. Over the speakers, we heard the captain call out, "Emergency, emergency, emergency," followed by "Mooring emergency," repeated 3 times, along with instructions for all hands on deck. Soon news began to trickle down that the rear mooring lines had broken and the ship actually had broken away from the dock. The gangway had come down with it and was now hanging from the side of the ship, only secured at the front at this time. The crew reacted quickly, and the captain used the thrusters to hold the ship in place until a tugboat arrived to help push the ship back to the dock. A crane was then used to lift the gangway back into place. All of this took just a little over an hour to accomplish. Thankfully, no one was injured, as passengers had already been stopped from using the gangway due to the high wind. It was far windier than we realized, and this dramatic event made the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle the next morning. After that rather dramatic dinner, which by the way was still very good, we headed to the theater for another Princess production show, the Spotlight Bar. This show tells the story of a typical night at the bar, from the arrival of employees, musicians, and guests to closing time as everyone slowly trickles out, all brought to life through live music, dance, and choreography. It's an excellent performance. As before, I was not allowed to take video, but I could take still photographs, so here are a few pictures from scenes in the Spotlight Bar. After the show, we stopped by the piazza for drinks, before heading back to our cabin to watch the sail away under the Golden Gate Bridge at night. Just like our sail into the bay, the evening sail away was dramatic. First, we enjoyed night views of the Bay Bridge and the surrounding city lights. Then, as we approached the Golden Gate Bridge, its towers glowed in a brilliant orange light. Sailing under the bridge and out to sea was an unforgettable way to close another incredible day in San Francisco. It's our second sea day aboard the Discovery Princess as we make our way down the Pacific coast. We took our time getting ready since it was a sea day and started off with some coffee delivered to our stateroom, always a nice way to ease into the morning. Once we were ready, we headed to the elevators to make our way up to the Lido deck, deck 16, to see what was happening around the ship. The elevator near our cabin midship took us straight up to deck 16 and dropped us right off at the entrance to the World Fresh Marketplace buffet on the Lido deck. Let's take a walk through and see what's on the buffet today. buffet exit at the back of the ship opens up to the Wakeview Bar and Wakeview Pool. There are some great seating areas back here, perfect when the buffet is busy, or if you just want a quieter spot to grab something from the buffet or the bar and enjoy the ocean views. The Wakeview pool, although small, is an infinity pool with a clear plexiglass panel at the back, giving you an amazing view of the ship's wake. I've noticed the water back here can really slosh around when the sea gets even a little rough, though. It definitely makes for an interesting spot to swim. As we continue past the Wakeview Bar to the other side of the ship, there's another seating area with a nice view off the stern. After taking a quick look around, we'll head back the way we came and check out the Wakeview Bar on the way. From the back of the ship, we took the stairs up a couple of decks to Deck 18, the Sky Deck. Up here, you'll find the walking and jogging track, along with Center Court, which has basketball and pickleball courts. As you make your way around the track, there are plenty of spots to stop and take in some great ocean views from the top of the ship. Let's take a walk around it and check it out. As you make your way toward the front of the ship along the track, you'll see some great spots to grab a deck chair, stretch out, and just enjoy the day on the deck below. It's a nice, quiet area, perfect if you want to relax without the crowds. As the track curves back to the other side of the ship, we pass right under the giant movie screen that's visible from the Lido deck below. From up here, it's a great vantage point overlooking the pool area and the rest of the Lido deck. As we continue around the track and head back toward the rear of the ship, you can see more nice, uncrowded spots on the deck below, perfect for relaxing and taking in the ocean views without all the activity of the main pool area. As we pass the other side of center court, let's take the stairs up to the highest point on the ship, Deck 19, the Vista Deck. There's not much up here except for the putting green, but it's a fun little spot and gives you a great view from the very top of the ship. Let's head back down to Deck 17, the sun deck, for a few more views from the rear of the ship, and then we'll take a closer look around the rest of the deck. On this deck, you'll find the children's, teen, and youth areas of the ship. There's also a well-equipped fitness center, so let's head inside there and take a look around. Stepping back outside, we arrive at the lounging area we spotted from the track above a few minutes ago. This is a great spot to relax and take in amazing ocean views, and it's a beautiful day to be out here on the Pacific Ocean. Also on this deck, you'll find a number of hot tubs overlooking the pools on the Lido deck below. The area we've now entered includes rooms overlooking the retreat pool and the retreat bar. The retreat pool and bar is an adults-only space, open to all adult guests on the ship. Let's head back down to the Lido deck, Deck 16. The elevators and stairs exit here at the front of the pool area, right near a couple of food venues. First up is Slice Pizza, serving pizza by the slice, included as part of the cruise. Next, in the middle at the front of the pool is Mick's Bar. And finally, on the starboard side at the front, you'll find the Salty Dog Grill, serving hamburgers and hot dogs, also included with your cruise. On both the port and starboard sides, as you move toward the back, you'll find the Sea Walk, a glass walkway that gives you views straight down to the ocean below. At the rear of the pool area on the left, just by the buffet entrance, is Swirls, a popular spot for ice cream cones. In the center area, you'll also find another bar, the Seaview Bar. From here, we decided to walk back through the buffet and grab a cookie to snack on in the dessert area before heading back to our stateroom. Once we were back in our stateroom, we relaxed on the balcony for a while and watched the ocean roll by. Around lunchtime, we checked the map on the stateroom TV and saw we were still north of Santa Barbara, slowly making our way toward San Diego for tomorrow morning's arrival. With that, we decided it was time to head to Gigi's Pizza for lunch. Gigi's Pizza is a casual dining spot included in our Plus package. It's located on Deck 7 overlooking the piazza, with a nice view of the ocean as well. For our meal, we each chose individual pizzas and picked out a dessert to enjoy afterward. After lunch, let's head back up to our stateroom for a quick room tour. And here is a Discovery Princess balcony room, configured for 2 twin beds. As you can see, each one of them has a lampstand, a flat screen TV on the wall. We have this nice little table with some shelves. Inside the door is a refrigerator, a mirror on the wall. And then our glass doors slide and lead out to the balcony. on this sea day as I'm filming. We'll go out there in just a second. Then we have a desk where we keep our daily padders, charging station that we've plugged in here. Then as we head out toward the door, there's a full-length mirror here. And then we have a closet, which has a motion sensor light that came on right then. Lots of closet space. Shelves up above, including the safety life jackets up there. Bathroom's small, but it's very usable. Got the sink, the toilet, some counter space, some shelves for things there. And then you got the shower. Showers are interesting. They have two knobs. One controls the amount of water, which is the top knob, and the bottom controls the temperature of the water. You see there is some shelving down below the sink as well. Trash can down there. Air conditioning is controlled by the temperature that you can set yourself right here. I'm going to head out on the balcony. When the latch is in the up position, that is unlocked. When the latch is turned down, that locks it, but I'm just going to open it. It's about a 3-foot swell today. The boat has been rocking sideways a little bit. It's not bad. There's some pretty good waves out today. I do always wear a motion sickness patch behind my ear just to be cautious. See down below our balcony some of the lifeboats, as well as the boats that they use to transport passengers whenever you're in a location that doesn't have a dock and they have to anchor off the coast. This afternoon, the weather is perfect. A beautiful day to be sailing on the Pacific, with clear blue skies and the deep, dark blue waters all around us. After spending some time in the cabin, we spent the rest of the afternoon out on the Lido deck, enjoying a few drinks and taking in the beautiful weather and ocean views. Our second sea day is also our second formal night, and around 5 o'clock we headed to the main dining room for dinner. Tonight, our table was right by the back window, giving us a great view of the ship's wake. As always, our meal started with a bread basket. Haley began with gnocchi, while I started with escargot and pesto sauce. For the main course, the menu featured the classic steak and lobster tail, always a highlight on formal nights.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
And for dessert, we enjoyed Prince's Chocolate Pistachio Dome, a rich chocolate mousse dome with a smooth pistachio cream center, finished with a delicate chocolate glaze. After dinner, we headed to the theater for the third and final production show of the cruise, Rock Opera. The show is a high-energy musical journey blending classic rock hits with a dramatic storyline and impressive choreography and costumes. As with the other production shows, I wasn't allowed to take video, but here are a few stills from the performance to give you a sense of the experience. That wraps up our second sea day on board the Discovery Princess. Tomorrow we'll be up early to watch as we sail into San Diego, California for another fun day in port. We've arrived in beautiful San Diego, California, one of our final 2 stops on this Pacific Coast cruise aboard the Discovery Princess. It's an early morning arrival as we sail into port, and we'll start the day with some pastries and coffee from the International Cafe before heading ashore for a full day of exploring. As we sailed into San Diego this morning, our stateroom balcony on the right side gave us a great view passing by Naval Air Station North Island. It's home to 3 aircraft carriers and their carrier groups, including the USS Roosevelt, which is in port here today. As we arrived at our dock, we were located near the USS Midway aircraft carrier and its museum. Let's watch as we pull into port with views of the Midway, downtown San Diego, the Coronado Bridge, Coronado in the distance, and a really nice yacht docked right next to us. After we were tied up at the dock, we headed down to the International Cafe and grabbed some coffee and pastries before exiting the ship. Outside, we took a few moments to get some really great shots of the Discovery Princess, the beautiful ship that's been our home for this cruise. We exited the ship into a park area and soon discovered a booth selling tickets for the nearby passenger ferry to Coronado. Since our excursion to the Temecula wine country had been canceled earlier in the week, we didn't have any set plans for the day, so we decided to go with the flow, bought ferry tickets, and boarded the Silver Gate for the short ride across the bay to Coronado. In just a short time, we were on our way, passing by the aircraft carrier Midway as we headed toward Coronado Island. The ride offered some great views of the bay and downtown San Diego. Let's watch a few scenes as we cross the bay to Coronado. After a few minutes, we arrived at the Coronado ferry landing. We exited the ferry and took a few moments to get some shots of the boat. Also, the San Diego skyline and the Discovery Princess docked way out across the bay. The ferry arrives at the Coronado Ferry Landing, a waterfront retail area with shops, restaurants, coffee spots, and open spaces to relax and enjoy the view. Coffee sounded good to us, so we left the pier and started looking around. And it didn't take long to find the Coronado Coffee Company. They have an extensive menu of coffees, teas, and matchas. We ordered iced coffees and took a little time to explore more of the landing area. After exploring the ferry landing, we crossed First Street and made our way to Orange Avenue, the main thoroughfare that leads across the island to the ocean side. Walking down Orange Avenue toward the ocean. We headed up Orange Avenue toward the ocean and the iconic Hotel del Coronado. Along this stretch, you'll find a mix of retail shops and plenty of restaurants with sidewalk seating, offering a wide variety of food options. Walk along with us as we make the 1.5-mile journey to the hotel and the beach. As we reached the small boat harbor, we found ourselves just across the street from the Hotel del Coronado. We waited for the light, crossed over to the hotel entrance, and walked up toward the front of this historic and iconic property. The grounds of the hotel are like one giant garden, making the walk up the driveway to the entrance very relaxing. The hotel itself is a well-known and instantly recognizable landmark, famous for its history and stunning architecture. And here's the view people come to Coronado for. The pool, the white sand beach, swaying palm trees, and the sparkling blue waters of the Pacific Ocean stretching out beyond. Also located on the hotel grounds is the Hotel del Coronado Dragon Tree, a magnificent tree over 100 years old, native to the Canary Islands. It even appeared in the classic Marilyn Monroe movie Some Like It Hot as a backdrop. Let's head down toward the beach and continue exploring the grounds of the Hotel del Coronado. The beach here is a stunning white sand beach, complete with beach chairs, umbrellas, and even picnic tables. It was a perfect day with clear blue skies and sparkling turquoise waters of the Pacific. We headed back past the hotel along the beach walk for a little ways, taking time to enjoy the sunny weather and the beautiful ocean views. After enjoying the beach for a while, it was time to start heading back, and we were getting hungry. We stopped at one of the places we had noticed on the way over, Clayton's Bakery and Bistro, and decided to have lunch. We were seated at a sidewalk table, and after looking over the menu, we chose the Flatiron Steaks, and they turned out to be an excellent choice. They were absolutely delicious. After lunch, we made our way back across the island to the ferry landing area and spent a little more time exploring and enjoying the sights before our return trip. Soon it was time to head back to the ship, so we walked down the ferry walkway and waited to board the return trip across the bay. The ferry soon arrived. We boarded and were off for the return trip across the bay back to the Discovery Princess. After the ferry arrived back across the bay, we made our way back over to the ship and started up the gangway to board. Just as we were about to step on board, we spotted a sea lion playing in the water between the dock and the ship. Later, we enjoyed beef Wellington and some of the signature Princess desserts in the main dining room before heading to the theater for tonight's show. Along the way, we passed through the casino, which was closed since we were in dock, and I took an opportunity to snap a few shots while it was quiet and empty. Tonight's show was Feeling Good, featuring Nick Petras performing the songs of Michael Bublé. Let's enjoy a few clips from the performance.
You make me wanna make some changes. Low, low, I get high. Ooh, that's low. Hey, oh, baby, any day that you come. Oh, I feel a breeze drifting on by.
After the performance, we headed back to the piazza for a few minutes, passing through the new non-smoking section of the casino, which was carved out of the former Take 5 Jazz Lounge. There was a lot of activity in the piazza, but soon it was time for the sail away from San Diego, and we headed back to our stateroom balcony to enjoy the night views as we left San Diego and headed to Ensenada, Mexico. We enjoyed beautiful nighttime views of the city since we were on the opposite side of the ship from when we arrived. One highlight was the San Diego airport, which sits close to the water, and we even got to watch a plane land parallel to the bay. I even managed to get a shot of the glass walkway on deck 16 from our stateroom balcony. Soon we were headed out to sea, and we returned to the piazza for a little more entertainment before turning in to rest up for our day tomorrow in Ensenada, Mexico. It was just after sunrise when I stepped out onto our balcony aboard the Discovery Princess and saw Ensenada coming into view. The morning light had that soft golden glow, and the water was perfectly calm as we made our way toward the harbor. I love mornings like this on a cruise. It's quiet, peaceful, and you can really take in the moment before the day gets started. As we got closer, we could start to see the waterfront, colorful buildings, fishing boats, and the busy working harbor that gives Ensenada its charm. As we neared the dock, the Discovery Princess used its thrusters to spin around and line up for docking, giving us a great view of the working harbor. From our balcony on the starboard side, we could see fishing boats headed out, cranes moving containers, and a container ship slowly making its way out to sea after finishing up its loading. Down near the rocks beside the ship, a few sea lions were gathering, barking and lounging in the morning sun. They didn't seem to mind the activity at all, just soaking it all in as the ship eased past into position. It was such a fun mix of sounds and motion, the hum of the engines, the calls of the sea lions, and the sights of the busy harbor all around us. Once the Discovery Princess was secured at the dock, we headed down to the piazza and made our way to the exit doors to go ashore. Stepping off the ship, we got some great views of the Discovery Princess from the pier. It's always impressive seeing just how massive she looks from the dock level. There were shuttles waiting to take passengers into the main part of town, but we decided to skip the ride and take the short walk instead. The weather was perfect, cool with a light breeze, and it felt like the best way to start our morning in Ensenada. The dock area in Ensenada is set up to handle 2 cruise ships, but today the Discovery Princess was the only one in port. As we started our walk toward town, we passed by the space where a second ship would normally be docked. It was quiet and open, giving us a nice chance to take in the view of the harbor and the ship behind us. It's always kind of nice when you're the only ship in port. Things feel a little more relaxed, and you get to see a different side of the place without the usual crowds. From there, we continued our walk toward Ensenada, enjoying the peaceful morning and the easy stroll along the waterfront. Before leaving the port area, we stopped to check out the water fountain and the colorful Ensenada port sign. It's right near the exit and makes a fun little photo spot before heading into town. The fountain was running and the sound of the water mixed with the sea breeze made for a nice calm moment before the busy part of the day ahead. To leave the port area, you just walk through the main gate. It's simple and easy to exit. Since this cruise begins and ends in the United States, you don't need to bring your passport off the ship here. Your cruise medallion and a secondary form of ID are all you need to return later. So we traveled light and didn't worry about carrying extra documents. Just beyond the port exit, there's a bridge to the left that crosses over toward the harbor front. We decided to take that route so we could get some more views looking back at the Discovery Princess and the harbor. From the top of the bridge, you get a really nice perspective. The ship, the working port, and the coastline all framed together in the morning light. On the other side of the bridge, there's a waterfront walkway with another colorful Ensenada sign, perfect for even more photos. It's a really welcoming spot and a great way to ease into exploring the town. We took a few moments here just to enjoy the scenery and take in the atmosphere before continuing on. From there, we continued our walk along the waterfront. On the left, we had the harbor, fishing boats, small tour boats, and the open water stretching out beyond. On the right, the walkway is lined with restaurants, little shops, bars, and places to sit and relax. It's the kind of area where you can take your time, look around, and just enjoy the sights and sounds of the morning. The mix of the ocean breeze, the chatter from the restaurant starting to open, and the movement around the harbor gave everything a really laid-back feel. It was a nice, easy way to ease into exploring Ensenada for the day. As we walked, the waterfront opened up into a small plaza area where there were several sculptures on display. These pieces represent different parts of Ensenada's history and culture, from the city's fishing routes to its traditions and local stores. We didn't have any excursion plans for the day, so we just kept following the harborfront path at our own pace. From there, we walked over one street to reach the main highway through Ensenada, Highway 1 as well as Highway 3. This is one of the main roads that runs through town, and it was also lined with shops, restaurants, and places to stop in and look around. We followed Highway 1 back in the direction we had originally come from, just taking our time and enjoying the walk. The morning was still comfortable, and it was nice seeing a different side of Ensenada. a mix of locals going about their day and visitors like us just exploring. We eventually made our way to a plaza called, if you'll pardon my Spanish, Plaza Cívica de la Patria Ensenada, which translates to Civic Plaza of the Ensenada Fatherland. This plaza honors some of the important civic leaders in Ensenada's history, and their statues are placed prominently in the square. At the center of the plaza is a very tall flagpole that normally flies one of the largest Mexican flags in the entire country. Unfortunately, the flag wasn't flying on the day we visited, but even without it, the size of the pole and the open space around it still make the plaza feel grand and significant. We took a few moments to walk around, take in the views, and appreciate the history represented here before continuing on. A little farther down the road, we came to a bazaar-style market with stalls selling just about everything you could think of: t-shirts, hats, jewelry, souvenirs, handmade crafts, and plenty more. We took our time wandering through the aisles and looking at what the different vendors had to offer. I actually saw a t-shirt I liked and planned to come back and get it on our way back to the ship, but of course I completely forgot, so no new t-shirt this time. Maybe next visit. Just beyond the market, we reached the Arroyo Ensenada, a dry riverbed that runs through this part of town. From here there's a direct route that leads straight back to the port, and you can clearly see the Discovery Princess off in the distance. We paused for a moment here to take in the view and grab a few more shots of the ship across the harbor. Instead of taking the direct route back, we headed over one more street into the Ensenada Central Historic District. This area has a different feel from the waterfront. More local shops, smaller cafes, and everyday life happening around us. The streets were a bit busier here with people going about their day, and it gave us a nice look at the city beyond the main tourist areas. We just wandered for a bit, taking in the atmosphere and enjoying the slower pace of the morning. It was nice being able to explore without any set plans or schedule, just seeing where the walk took us. With so many interesting restaurants, cafes, and coffee shops all around, it was hard not to be tempted. I kept thinking about stopping for a bite or a coffee, but we had already made plans for a special meal back on the Discovery Princess. So, for this visit, we kept exploring without stopping to eat, though I made a mental note the next time I'd definitely try one of these spots. It's always fun to leave yourself a little reason to come back, you know. After exploring the historic district a bit more, we made our way back to the harbor front. The waterfront is lined with so many inviting restaurants and bars, and since Ensenada is known as the birthplace of the margarita, we couldn't resist stopping at one of the harborside spots to give the local drink a try. After enjoying our margaritas and taking in the harbor views, we made our way back toward the port. We walked past the fountains again and strolled along the waterfront walkway, retracing some of our earlier steps and enjoying the sights one last time. Before long, we were back at the port gates and reboarded the Discovery Princess, ready to relax and reflect on a wonderful day exploring Ensenada. It had been a perfect mix of sightseeing, local flavor, and leisurely wandering, a day to remember on our Pacific Coast cruise. Back aboard, we were greeted with some chocolates waiting in our staterooms, a sweet little treat after a full day of exploring Ensenada. Later, we had made plans for a special dinner called the 360 Experience. We were asked to meet near the Catch by Rudy, just off of the piazza, a few minutes before 5 p.m. After checking in, they took our photo and presented us with a special welcome cocktail, complete with the 360 emblem on top. Once we had a few moments to enjoy it, our glasses were collected and we were led through the Catch by Rudy, accompanied by a live violinist, into a special room tucked away in the back. Each of us had been given an assigned number, and upon entering, we were asked to take our designated seats. The violinist continued playing as everyone took their seats and the servers came around to pour water. Then came a little touch of magic. We were asked to wave our hand over the table, and suddenly a personalized welcome appeared right in front of us.
Welcome, one more time, welcome.
Then the show began on our 360 screen surrounding us, and we were introduced to our virtual traveler, our guide for the evening, who would take us on a journey around the Mediterranean. Our first stop was Greece, where we learned about the tradition of breaking plates in celebration. Then came our turn. We were invited to smash the plate that appeared before us virtually. We were then presented with a refreshing Greek cocktail along with a selection of appetizers, the perfect pairing to go with the vibrant sights and sound of Greece all around us.
Cocktail straight from Greece. It's called Elysian. Your cocktail is freshly baked pita bread, so please engage your sense of smell, touch, and taste with this.
Next, we were taken on a virtual tour through a sun-drenched Greek olive grove, surrounded by stunning views on the 360 screen. As we return from our virtual visit, you'll notice the tablecloth has now transformed into a virtual blue and white tablecloth, a perfect nod to Greece. Then came our next course as we were taken to Santorini, octopus. It was delicious, tender, and flavorful, not tough or chewy like it can sometimes be. Our next stop, Italy, specifically Pompeii and the vineyards around the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. We were presented with wine from that very region, and it was mentioned that this special vintage is exclusive to the 360 experience. It can't be purchased anywhere else. You'll also notice that the tabletop is once again transformed, this time into textured cobblestones with playful animations that come to life at your touch.
Behind me, you can see.
I loved this idea of tasting history, relishing a flavor that Pompeians enjoyed centuries ago. It gave me a deep connection to people and to a...
We were also served a cheese course to complement the wine, a perfect pairing that highlighted the flavors of the region. Our hostess mentioned that the same wine would also be served with the upcoming pasta course, creating a seamless connection between the dishes as our Italian journey continued. Curious about what would happen if we moved our plates, we couldn't resist testing it, and to our delight, the projection tracked the movement perfectly. It was such a clever and interactive detail, making the experience feel even more magical and immersive. Next, we were virtually transported to a lemon grove, complete with the fresh scent of lemons in the air. On our table, the actual plate in front of us featured animated lemons that responded to touch, blending the real and virtual in a really fun way. This led perfectly into our pasta course, made with a bright and zesty lemon sauce, and it was absolutely delicious. Next, we were taken to a unique underwater location in the Mediterranean, where our next wine is carefully aged beneath the waves. This special red wine was served alongside bread and prosciutto, and we were told it would pair perfectly with our upcoming main course, adding another layer of flavor and excitement to our Mediterranean journey.
Yeast in stainless steel thanks to preserved with freshness. After malolactic, the wine which you will taste now is made 100% of Grenache grapes and 14% of alcohol.
My father, we have been fishing here for more than 100 years. You don't become demanding with long hours. We get up at 6 a.m., we leave at 7, and we fish for 11 hours.
For our main course, we were off to Spain, greeted by a brand new tabletop design and a whole new set of interactive animations that made the experience even more engaging and fun.
Gaudi's fantastical architecture, the beautiful mosaics, a rainbow of color everywhere. Barcelona feels like a living art museum. My visit to the Mercado de la Boqueria this morning was a revelation. The astounding variety of produce is in every color imaginable.
Before our main course officially arrived, the tabletop transformed into a forest floor, and we were invited to dig for black truffles to be used in the dish. Wherever we dug, holes appeared, and in some of them were the rare black truffles that would later be incorporated into the rich sauce of our main course. Our main course was a perfectly cooked beef tenderloin served with a medley of mixed vegetables, tender, flavorful, and absolutely delicious, making for a truly memorable centerpiece to our Spanish-inspired course. After the main course, we were transported through the sights, sounds, and even the scents of lavender fields, immersing us in the beauty of the Mediterranean countryside.
Lavender is an aroma and a flavor. No wonder it's the essence for both the world's best perfumes and local delicacies.
Then our tabletop was transformed into a honeycomb, complete with animated bees buzzing all around. We were invited to move our fingers in a circular motion on our plate, and honey magically appeared. Honey that would inspire the dessert to come.
Bees are incredibly important here in Provence, as we can.
Then came dessert, inspired by the lavender and honey from our tabletop experience, a beautifully crafted, fully edible creation. After dessert, we moved to the final region of our journey, the Champagne region of France.
When you open a bottle of champagne, first take the foil out, then the cage, and then there's this moment where you hold the cork and you know it's going to pop, but you don't know when. And when you finally hear it pop,
To cap off this incredible experience, we enjoyed a champagne toast celebrating the end of our Mediterranean adventure in style.
Our champagne is made most Pinot Noir grapes. Now, before you start, Charlie is going to...
As we sipped our champagne, the visual finale began on the 360 screens. We were introduced to the hostess, the wait staff, and the chefs who had made the evening so special. And as we finished our drinks, the photos we had taken upon arrival began to appear around the walls, creating a wonderful personal keepsake to end the 360 experience. After the 360 experience came to a close, we made our way to the Princess Theater for the farewell variety show. The show featured several of the talented performers we had seen throughout the week on the ship, with the spotlight on Jen Maldonado, who had wowed us on the very first night of the cruise. Let's take a look at some scenes from this memorable performance on the last night of the cruise.
Just sit and put life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around the cloud to rain on my parade. The sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on to tomorrow. Start spreading the news. I want to be a part of it. Sing, New York, New York. It's up to you, New York, New
York. And just like that, it was all over. The next morning, we were off the ship by 8:30 a.m. at the port of Los Angeles, where we hailed an Uber for the ride back to LAX for our afternoon flight to Texas. We arrived with plenty of time, checked our bags, and then found a Starbucks to sit and relax for a bit. Afterwards, we headed to the gate area and grabbed a seat by the windows to watch the airport activity. As our flight time approached, we made our way to our gate and settled in for our on-time flight back to Austin. The flight back to Texas was mostly uneventful except for a special meal we pre-ordered, a Shake Shack cheeseburger, which made for an excellent meal as we made our way home. With the 2-hour time difference, we arrived in the evening to an uncrowded airport, collected our bags, and headed home, officially wrapping up our incredible Pacific Coast cruise. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of this kind of content, like the video, share it with friends, and leave us a comment to let us know what you think. We invite you to join us on our website at findushere.com, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon. Meanwhile, check out this video next for more travel fun. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our new content. Your subscription is always free, helps us grow the channel, and is always greatly appreciated.